Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is, "In a Pro Throw," posted to r/relationships March 2nd, 2015. I, 22 female, have a big issue with my boyfriend, 21 male, of 6 months, and his relationship with his best friend, 21 female. I'm going to try to keep this short. They've known each other for 4 years. He told me when we started dating that she was a lesbian. I didn't believe him because she's got a kid. Like, come on. He then explained that everyone else he's dated left him because of their friendship. I finally met this girl, and she was really cool. I'll call her Anne. Anne and I started hanging out one-on-one. Like, if my boyfriend was working, we'd go get drinks and talk about stuff. We became friends. And then she told me a bit about their history. I'm not a jealous person normally, and I've fooled around with my best friends before, so it didn't really faze me to hear they hooked up. At first, I started having issues with my parents, and my boyfriend was moving into a new apartment. He asked me to move in with him. I did, and then Anne moved into the same building. She started spending the night at our apartment, and it bothered me. She lives across the hall. Why can't she just sleep in her own apartment? Friday was the first day my boyfriend and I had off together, and she called and invited him over. He left me to go be with her. It really bothered me because they were having a naked wine party. I ended up packing my stuff, and he came back because our roomie told him I was flipping out. He talked to me about it and said I was being too insecure. Too long didn't read. Am I overreacting about my boyfriend and his best friend having a history and no boundaries? Am I wrong for feeling like he puts her before me? What do I do? Relevant comments. User Sexy Pleurisy comments. It's fine, OP. I have naked wine parties with my friends all the time. OP responds, when I say naked wine party, I mean you take your clothes off when you walk in. There were pictures on Facebook of everyone being nude and drinking wine. Sexy Pleurisy responds, I know what a naked wine party is. Like I said, we have them all the time. Totally normal behavior for someone who's in a relationship. OP responds, your sarcasm is really quite helpful. Sexy Pleurisy responds further, I generally only do it when someone already knows the right answer to drive home how ridiculous any other answer would be. You already know the answer here. User Diana Prince comments, am I confused about what a naked wine party is, or did they literally get drunk and naked together? OP responds, you're not confused, but there were other people there too. User Duck Hunter 7382 responds further, yeah, that doesn't make it any less weird. OP responds, I agree. I think the whole thing is weird and like cheating. He says I'm just being insecure. Deleted user, why weren't you invited? OP responds, he's trying to preemptively give us space from each other so we don't feel smothered. Deleted user, naked wine party. Now you see why no relationship he's had has outlasted his connection with Anne. This is one of those learning moments of your early 20s. When you're closer to 30, you'll be shaking your head at how you even considered this acceptable for half a moment. Start looking for new roommates or patch things up with your folks because you are a live-in side piece. Too long didn't read. Nope. No. The end. OP responds, I don't want to be that controlling, jealous girlfriend, but I don't think it's acceptable. User Cookie Puss responds, naked wine party? Yeah, get the hell out of there. There's no way you think that's okay. OP responds to Cookie Puss with, I didn't think it was okay. I didn't know that was what they were doing until I got on Facebook. I know it was mentioned earlier, but it's still just whiplash of a, why would you post that? Why would you put that on the internet? Why is that there? Deleted user. What the fuck is a naked wine party? The title of it doesn't even sound like it'd be okay to partake in while in a committed relationship. OP responds, "That's my feeling on it, but when I brought it up, he said that he's so desensitized nudity doesn't do anything for him. I called bullshit, and he said I was just being insecure." Deleted user responds further, "Then he's being what's known as an asshole. If it makes you uncomfortable, then you're entitled to your own feelings on matters like naked wine parties. If my fiance went to one, I'd be livid and probably break it off. Most normal people don't get naked and drink wine, which could easily lead to other things. Like, come on, alcohol plus nudity? That is not acceptable to engage in while in a committed relationship." Edit, okay, I get it. I'll be packing up and apartment hunting. Thank you all. Update, my big problem with my boyfriend and his best friend. March 6th, 2015. 4 days later. I'm 22, they're 21, 6-month relationship. So I said I'd update when I moved out. I want to thank everyone who commented on the original post. You guys gave me a lot of perspective, and that helped me phrase the conversation in a more mature way. He and I talked the next day about how their relationship had crossed a lot of lines, how I understood that Anne had been around longer than I had, but I wouldn't tolerate that kind of disrespect. We talked for hours. Bottom line, he said he'd stop talking to her altogether. But I had to tell her and tell her why. I told him I was not interested in being the bad guy and giving him a loophole to be her BFF again if/when we broke up. I went back to packing my things and called my dad. My boyfriend went to her apartment and I called him and dumped him. Then I left. Since then, I have deleted both of them on Facebook. They've both been blowing up my phone, alternating between apologetic and angry. She's accusing me of ruining her best friend's life and their relationship. I guess he's mad at her now? I don't know. I don't care. Too long didn't read. I moved out and broke up with him. They're both mad at me. I don't care. Final comments. Deleted user. I cannot believe he tried to get you to tell her they couldn't be friends anymore. I mean, I can believe it because he seems like an asshole, but still, the audacity. I'm glad you put your foot down and left. You deserve so much better, and they both deserve each other because of how shitty they are. OP responds, I mean, if I had told her, then he could have gone behind my back until he got bored with our relationship, and then he'd do the same thing to the next girl. User Potent Porter comments, You let go of a real catch there. How will you ever find someone better? Sarcastic. Funny how he blames his friend for his own shitty behavior. Like, am I the only one who wonders whether the doofus was the lesbian friend's baby's daddy? OP responds, No, you are not. I had asked him because, holy fuck, does this kid look like him? But he said they hadn't hooked up until after she was born. User Potent Porter responds further, I wouldn't trust the dude who says he needs personal space to go to a naked wine party with everyone but you. He has no credibility. OP responds further, None whatsoever. Doesn't matter at this point because we aren't together, but if she is his kid, he's not a good father. Definitely not someone I want to have kids with. I dodged a bullet. Silver linings and all that. Wait, are they having naked parties with a kid around? Like, they're going to her apartment, right, for the naked wine parties. That's what I'm assuming. Where's the kid going during that? That's the biggest unresolved question in my mind here. What the hell? But, yeah, hot take. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask your boyfriend not to attend naked wine parties while in a committed relationship. Like, if that's something that you want to do, you go be you. But, just know it's gonna come with some consequences, and if you and your partner are into that, then hey, all the more merrier. But if your partner's not into that and you're going to naked wine parties and they clearly have a problem with that, saying that they're being insecure isn't fair, because that's a perfectly reasonable thing to be upset about. Also, there's a whole layer of complexity when it comes to the Facebook photos because, you know, if anyone looks at those photos and sees, oh, you're naked at a wine party without your significant other, did you guys break up? Is she okay with this? Does she know about this? Should I be asking her about this? Like, there's gonna be a lot of questions popping up about that. And why would you post that to your Facebook? Good God. Also, gotta love the class act behavior of him going like, you know, Will, I'll stop talking to her, but you have to be the one to tell her why. It's not how this works, dude. You're making your ex-girlfriend the bad guy so you have plausible deniability, and you're just being a coward. Don't forget the Oz Cup is on sale right now, and right now GamerSubs is also doing 20% off, so if you use code Oz at checkout, you get 20% off of the Oz Cup, plus the t-shirts if you want that. This is lasting until the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, link in the description, plus every purchase made using code Oz actually directly supports the channel, so you should do that. It'd be super cool. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Shame Outrageous 2169, posted to r/work July 9th, 2023. I was just told it was highly unprofessional of me to be drunk when I'm off on the weekend. Boss lady called on Saturday night around 9 p.m. while I was out with a group of friends. She had issues with some of the files and needed help. I told her I wasn't home, have no access to a computer to review the files, and I was also too drunk to help her with it, and she hung up. Just saw an email she sent soon after she hung up. Basically, she told me I was highly unprofessional and we will have a meeting about this on Monday. This is not a job that requires me to be on call, or was a request ever sent to me that I may need to do work on the weekend. Seriously, what the fuck? Monday is going to be fun. Edit. I was drunk, so normal social filter went out the window 3 old fashions ago. She also called my personal cell, not my work phone. I was not on call, and I was not driving. I am not some young kid who has no work or life experience. Comment. Sugar beaters. I don't understand why people answer work calls when they're not on the clock. User AnyCantaloupe613 responds, it really depends on the job. Some jobs require off-the-clock work, and that exception is built into the salary. But yeah, if you're drunk, high, partying, etc., just let it go to voicemail. You're not accomplishing anything by answering a phone call while drunk. OP responds, the thing is, drunk me doesn't make the best decisions. Sober me would have let it go to voicemail. But drunk me was, let's see what this bitch wants. Put her on speaker. User Slow Burner comments, stand your ground. It'll be awkward, but stand up for yourself. It's far more unprofessional to call out of business hours unless you have said, call me anytime. User Pigeon Toes comments, even if OP said call me anytime, she can't get mad at the fact that you don't sit at home waiting for an issue to arise. However, I would argue that OP shouldn't have picked up the phone in general. This is why we have voicemail. OP responds, drunk me doesn't behave as sober me. Did I mention I was drunk? Like singing at the top of my lungs in a bar, drunk. And I can't sing. So I was told that also happened, and there is video evidence. Could be a deepfake. User Dangerous Nail 3780 comments, mistake number 1, you answered the phone when you weren't on work time. OP responds, she called my personal cell, not my work phone, and we sometimes hang out outside of work as a group. Final update, the next day, July 10th, 2023. First, let me clear up a few things from the previous post and provide some background information, as there were many assumptions because my previous post was posted in haste, and I was still intoxicated. First, I am not an inexperienced child new to the workforce. I have been with this company for the past 12 years, and personally manage a team of 16 people. The boss lady, from now on I will refer to her as TBL for short, I'll still be calling her the boss lady though, and I do hang out outside work hour and sometimes on the weekends with other team members, and I have personally driven her home after she had a few too many to drink. A few weeks ago we changed our system and everyone was trained, but the boss lady didn't really bother much with it because she knows I'll do most of the work for her, and it has been that way since COVID, and some of us remote work more than others. I was on Saturday to celebrate a very close friend's engagement, and the boss lady is very much aware of this. We all have a work phone, but most people I work with also have my personal cell, as I don't want to take work home with me, and they are all aware of this. When someone at work calls me on my cell phone, it would be either an emergency or a social call. When the boss lady called my personal cell, I was already 6 sheets to the wind, so with my years of working and personal relationship working with her, and the very fact that I was drunk, I answered the call and told her I was drunk. There is no need to keep telling me I should not have answered my personal phone from work when I am not working. or I should never disclose the fact I was drunk. Since I was unable to help her on Saturday night when I was drunk, out of my mind, this is not a regular occurrence, I have been drunk 3 times in my entire life, she felt the need to send me an email to let me know how unprofessional that was, and we need to have a meeting to talk about this on Monday morning. This was what my first post was about. I got to the office at 7:30 a.m. and waited for her. She strolled in a quarter after 8 a.m. I knocked on her door and asked her what she wanted on Saturday night, and if there was an issue, why not call the 3 guys who were on call that weekend? Apparently, her boss called her to update an account, but she had no idea how to navigate the new system and didn't feel comfortable calling other employees to fix the issue for her because it's all about the optics for her. I asked her what time she would like to have this meeting about my unprofessionalism, because I can get the DHR to sit in on this at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. She quickly said that was just a joke, and she knew I was out with friends and didn't know I would be so upset with her joke, and I was reading too much into the email. Since I'm not in the mood to rock the boat, I let it go. Unfortunately, I will have to keep entertaining the boss lady's mood and inability to do her own work, as she is the CEO's BFF. Comments: Tolka's Rouser. Sounds like maybe she was drinking too to send that unhinged email joke. For what it's worth, and I don't have specific advice, you need to strategize how to protect yourself here in some pragmatic way. What her joke did is leave the last written word on this incident chastising you. Do you have official records she can't alter of who is on call that weekend, stretching back forever? If you piss her off or she's worried about your career advancement in a year, could she point to this as evidence of unprofessional conduct and a problem, claiming you were on call that weekend? Opie responds, "Good point. I just replied to her email to confirm that this was a misunderstanding/joke, and she does not wish to have a meeting with DHR, and I saved that sent email. As far as advancement, she is my boss on paper. I really report and receive my review directly from the CEO herself. While they are BFF, the boss lady is terrified of the CEO when it comes to work. After 12 years here, while no one ever said it out loud, I assume the CEO is very much aware the boss lady can't pull her own weight." User Zipporah comments, "Get the response in email, please. Her sending an email started a paper trail about this joke." OP responds, "I did, thanks. Knowing how petty she can be sometimes, I save the email to protect myself." One of my favorite things about Reddit sometimes, which I know I can be guilty of this too. God knows I've had my fair share of terrible takes on this channel, but I always love it when someone's like, "Hey, this is what happened, this is what's going on, what can I do moving forward?" And the Reddit comments like, "Well, first of all, you shouldn't have done this." And that's like the comment is just, "Why did you do that?" Or "You shouldn't have done this." It's like, yes, I understand that, but those were the circumstances. Now what can I do moving forward? "But did you really consider that you shouldn't have answered the phone while drunk?" Yes, but what should I do moving forward? It's like the comments can get really wrapped up on the fact of, "Well, I wouldn't have done this," or, "Well, why did you do this? This was really dumb." Yeah, I made a human mistake while intoxicated. My boss called me on my personal cell. I assumed it was either some kind of social call or it could have been an emergency. My bad for not thinking through it while being intoxicated on a Saturday night during my friend's engagement party. But the final commenters were actually 100% correct to leave a paper trail confirming the fact that her email joke is in fact a joke that can't be weaponized later. Personally, I call bullshit on that being a joke because, what kind of joke is that? "Hey, I thought it'd be really funny to send you a work email about you being intoxicated, unprofessional. Haha, that's so funny, right?" Like, where's the joke? That email feels like a threat to be utilized later. Also, gotta love it when a manager fucks something up on the weekends to call one of their employees on the weekend and expect them to be 100% ready for work as if they're just kind of in some sort of storage container waiting for their next work order. Don't you know, guys? Having a life outside of work is unprofessional, apparently. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Throwaway Wed Drama, posted to r/Am I Overreacting, February 4th, 2026. Am I overreacting? Shady bridesmaid hijacked my wedding shower. Throwaway because I don't want this tied to my main. My sister is getting married and asked me to be her matron of honor, which I was thrilled about. I love my little sister, and she was my maid of honor when I got married a few years ago. We talk once or twice a week. I have a little one at home, and she's younger, very social, staying out late type. She's planning a big wedding. Lots of people, lots of moving parts. As matron of honor, I'm expected to lead planning for the bridal shower and bachelorette party. Since the shower comes first, I asked my sister what vibe she wanted. She said elegant. Perfect. I told her I'll organize with the bridesmaids and report back to her ideas that she can choose from/approve. I asked her if she had any ideas already, and she said no, but wanted to see what we came up with. She did say she wanted something that would accommodate a lot of people. I created a group chat with the bridesmaids to start planning. There are 3 other bridesmaids. 2 are my sister's childhood friends. I know them, sweet, collaborative, great people. And 1 I didn't know. Let's call her Shady. Shady is actually in the main group of friends of my sister's future husband. They included her as a bridesmaid rather than on the groom's side for symmetry in the wedding party. But my sister is getting to know her more, and she's becoming one of her friends too. We planned an in-person meeting to brainstorm ideas. Everyone showed up on time, except Shady. I texted and called, no answer. After about 30 minutes, I suggested we start planning. We started discussing ideas, games, and venues. I mentioned that I was thinking of some elegant venues, but that they could be pricey. I'm a little bit older and more financially established, so I offered to cover the cost of the venue, restaurant, hotel, studio, and if the other bridesmaids wanted to focus on games, decor, flowers, and theme ideas. They were relieved and agreed since they're still in or just out of college. After 45 minutes, Shady shows up and apologizes for being late. We recap everything. She doesn't offer any ideas, she just listens. We all chat for a bit, get to know each other, and Shady seems friendly, outgoing, and pleasant. We end the meeting with the plan that I'll tour venues and update the group chat, and everyone else will contribute ideas for games, decor, and themes. The following week, I took a few days off work and toured several venues. I took photos and shared them in the group chat. The other bridesmaids responded with comments like how beautiful they were, questions about space and menus, etc. Then showed pictures of game ideas and themes, etc. Shady said nothing. That week, I went to my sister's place to show her everything in person. She casually mentioned that Shady and her boyfriend had been over earlier that day to spend time with her and her future hubby. Then, my sister tells me Shady had already shown her all the venue photos and ideas from the group chat. She then showed my sister pictures of a friend's large mansion, complete with floor plans, and suggested hosting the shower there instead with catering. My sister said she really liked that idea. I told my sister that if that's what she wants, I support it. I want her to be happy and have the shower she wants. But I feel like the rug was pulled out from under me. I did planning, legwork, touring, and shared everything with the group. Shady said nothing in the chat, then went directly to my sister behind the scenes with some other plan that she did not want to share with the bridesmaids group. Was this shady behavior or am I overreacting? Do I confront Shady or keep quiet to avoid drama during my sister's wedding? Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. I would bring it up in the group chat to let the other girls know the ideas Shady came up with, so all of you are on the same page. My question being, is Shady came up with the mansion, does that mean it's free because it's her friends, or will she be covering that expense? OP responds, it'll be free because it's at someone's house. My sister will also likely add this additional person to the guest list if she's hosting the party for the shower. I imagine the bridal party will divide costs for food. I'm going to make a group chat informing the other bridesmaids of the change. I don't know how to word it without sounding upset right now. Commenter 2. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. When you were at the bridal planning, she could not offer up a second person's house without speaking to them first. She absolutely had to confirm with that person before she made the offer. And then, once she got a confirmation that it could be done, she likely told your sister because she knows your sister better, and she spoke to your sister before she spoke to you. She might be shady, but I don't think this is that deep. The only way you're gonna know is if you talk to her, but if you don't talk to her, and you just start bailing out of things and shit-talking her without finding out what happened, then you're going to be the one who's bringing drama. OP responds, I appreciate you giving a possible way to view this. I'm not the type to burn the house down if something goes wrong, so I'm not in any way going to stop being there for my sister or step down from being her maid of honor. I just think there were many opportunities to say, hey, here's an option. I can check with my friend if this is possible. That would have been great. Commenter 3. Honestly, leave this one alone and tell your sister that you're leaving the planning of everything else to Shady because of what she did. Let her know you don't have time for this and cut off the drama at the head. Update. February 15th, 2026, 11 days later. Update. Somehow things got worse. This is long. Sorry, y'all. Remember when I said I didn't want to cause drama for my sister? Well, I failed. After my sister told me she wanted to go with Shady's mansion shower plan, I decided to be an adult and call Shady directly. She didn't answer. So I sent a polite text saying I had spoken to my sister, she mentioned the mansion idea, and I was just confused about how the group chat planning pivoted into a fully formed alternate event. Very calm, very just trying to understand. She texted back instead of calling. She said she doesn't have a sister of her own and really wants to do this for my sister. Okay. She did not address why she didn't bring this up in the group chat. Then she added that she already has a menu planned. My sister agreed to it. She will be covering the cost, and all the bridesmaids have to do is show up and enjoy. Oh, and she plans to use one of the games we discussed in the group chat. Just excuse me? So now, she's throwing the shower, featuring one recycled game from the peasants. I know I'm not paying anything for this, so she's not looking to take advantage of my generosity. I probably shouldn't have, but I responded that this was something I had really wanted to do for my only sister, and I was disappointed I didn't even get to be a part of it. Then I called my sister to explain the conversation. My sister said yes, she's good with this plan. This is what she wants, and I can just focus on the bachelorette party. If this is what she wants, fine, I'll swallow it. But I feel disappointed, replaced, weirdly pushed out. So I sent a neutral message to the group chat saying that Shady would be taking over the shower planning and that it would be at her friend's home. My phone rang immediately. One of the bridesmaids, we'll call her Sweetie, calls me absolutely shocked because she knew how passionate I was about doing this for my sister. I explained what happened. She was upset for me and asked if I wanted her to call Shady and find out why she left us out. And here is where hindsight punches me in the face. I said sure. Sweetie calls Shady. Shady answers. Apparently, Sweetie did not love the response she got. They argue. Shady calls my sister. My sister then calls me. My sister was upset because there's conflict. I tried calming her down, but I ended up getting upset too, and I yelled. I did apologize, but in that moment, I realized my sister just wanted me to quietly make this work and not create waves, and I had just created a tidal wave. How did we get here? Fast forward to this past weekend. We had an unrelated event where all the bridesmaids were present, along with family, and I met my sister's future in-laws for the first time. Shady was there. She did not speak to me, not once. Instead, she stayed glued to my sister's fiancé and his mother. When I met the future mother-in-law with Shady standing right there, I immediately got the vibe that she was annoyed with me. Curt, polite but distant, and I couldn't help but wonder what version of the story had been told on that side. I stayed near my sister the whole event. She seemed happy. Sweetie stuck by us too. But there is now this very obvious divide with Shady, and I feel terrible. I never wanted to make my sister's wedding messy, I just wanted to throw her a beautiful shower. Now, somehow it feels political. So now I'm asking, did I mishandle this? Is this a pick your battle situation and I picked wrong? Was I reasonably hurt and this spiraled beyond what I intended? Because right now I feel like I accidentally became the villain. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Damn, that Shady has screwed you over. Sadly, you played right into her hands, and now she's the one seen to be doing what the bride wants, and you're the bad guy. To be honest though, as long as your sister is happy, I just let the drama fade away now. Totally understand why you're hurt though, and I do think that you're not the asshole. OP responds, thank you for your response. I think this is probably the best way. I appreciate you saying I'm not the asshole and understand why I'm hurt. I don't think my sister understands that, and maybe that's why this feels unresolved and uncomfortable. And now I've got to interact with Shady for the next few months for wedding activities and act like everything is okay. General question, is there any chance that Shady likes the future brother-in-law and is jealous that he's getting married to OP's sister? OP responds, no, I don't think so. They've been friends for many years and he was single for a long time before he met my sister. I do think she appreciates his friendship and wants to be involved to a significant degree, but wasn't happy with me being in charge or leading something she wanted control of. Commenter 2. Sounds to me like Shady has main character syndrome. One idea might be for you and Sweetie, and extra Sweetie, to just sit tight and be available anytime your sister reaches out. And let Shady do her little show, cause eventually she's gonna slip up and show her ass. If she is main character type, she's not gonna stop trying taking center stage from you. It's gonna bleed into other aspects of the wedding, and your sister and others will see her as she really is. But realize now that you can't stop it based on the dynamics you described. Know that you can't protect your sister from her because your sister's still buying into it. And she's just going to have to learn about this girl from her own experiences. So there's no reason getting your sister pissed off at you over it. You've already kind of warned her. Now you can just be there when she needs you. So just give Shady enough rope and eventually she'll hang herself, so to speak. Obviously not literally, it's an old saying. It's gonna be hard biting your tongue, but just be there for your sister when she needs you. PSA, this is one of multiple certain scenarios that could play out. Opie responds, this sounds like the route I'll go. I'll just have to accept what happened and just be polite when I see Shady. I don't like that my sister's future mother-in-law has such a negative impression of me. Shady is such an ass. Commenter 3. Your sister is an asshole and owes you an apology for allowing this friend to treat you so badly. I hope you tell your sister that if she thinks her friend is more of a sister to her, then you'll be stepping back. Your sister is in the wrong here, not only her shitty friend. OP responds, I didn't really think about this perspective. She really is dismissing my feelings about what happened. I'm not going to step down from being her maid of honor. I love her, and will give her grace about this. There might be more going on behind the scenes than I know. I know if Shady brought this up when spending time with my sister and my future brother-in-law, I could see my future brother-in-law possibly pushing for this if he thought it was a good idea too, as he's pretty opinionated. This is just speculation though. OP responds to a long thread regarding avoiding making more conflicts and the idea of stepping down as the maid of honor because her sister is disregarding her and her relationship with OP. OP responds, I didn't think about that, but yes, my sister disregarding my feelings about what happened, that does hurt. I'm going to give her grace about this, as wedding planning is very stressful and overwhelming. OP's thoughts on if Shady is trying to be the maid of honor due to taking over the shower as she claims to know the bride/sister than OP does. OP responds, I actually would have preferred Shady to take over the bachelorette party than the shower. With a little one at home, I've gotten protective over my sleep, and I'm not into staying out all night as I used to be. But I will make it everything my sister wants and drink coffee or an energy drink or whatever I need to do to keep up with my sister and her friends. Is Shady a family member or related to anyone else in the family? OP responds, no. Okay, this one is definitely a bit messy and there's a lot of moving parts here. I'll see if I can keep an eye out if there's any updates that are worth covering. If there is, it might end up going as a second upload when the updates arrive. If there's enough interest, of course. That being said, I think OP does need to kind of reevaluate how they're approaching this and dealing with Shady because they're playing right into Shady's hands if Shady does have malicious intent. Right now, Shady is coming across as the most well-adjusted person and the favorable outcome for managing the parties. She's the one who brought the free mansion idea. She's the one who's handling catering. She's the one who brought the games, even though they're recycled. And the original bridal party, they've only brought drama so far. She's winning. And while I might be biased because I've dealt with and dated people who have similar modus operandi, I am very much left with the opinion that Shady is being deliberate here. There's also a massive question as to why was Shady at the family event? I get the feeling that there are moving pieces here that OP is not currently aware of that is really only known on the brother-in-law's side of the family. I don't know, but I'm also me. I have my biases and I have my own personal experiences, and I'm also lacking a lot of personal experience when it comes to planning bridal showers. So maybe there's a few things that I'm just entirely in the dark about, or norms or customs that are just completely going over my head. So hey, let me know, and also give me your opinions in the comments and what you're thinking. Oh boy, the outro! So right now, GamerSupps is doing a 20% off for all partner codes, up until the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hey, you know what you could do? You could use code OZ at checkout and get the cup and the shirt for 20% off. Wouldn't that be super cool? Oh, and I was serious, by the way, about if we sold 5,000 cups that I would get my hair styled like the cup. So, hey, there's that. Dyed and everything.